and kittens, welcome to Art with Miss Walsh at Home Edition. It's Big Cat Week, so I'm going to be showing you 2 directed drawings of big cats, a bobcat and a cougar. So this week you're going to need a piece of paper and something to write with, like a pencil, something with an eraser I suggest. If you'd like to trace over yours in black outline like I do, you're going to need a black marker. If you'd like to color it in, you will need some additional supplies like some crayons or some colored pencils and some markers. Remember, artists, you can always pause and rewatch the video as many times as you need. Let's get started right meow. Alright, artist, let's go ahead and start drawing. So first, I have something to draw with, and I have my piece of paper. I have mine going horizontally, so that's long ways, or laying down lazy, I like to call it, because we want our drawing to be a little bit longer than we do tall. Remember, we're drawing a big cat called a bobcat. So we're going to break it down very simply. On the left side of your paper, so over here, I'm going to go ahead about a couple inches maybe from the top, and from the side I'm going to put a little dot so you can see. I'm going to draw a straight line coming down about halfway, and then I'm going to take this line and I'm going to swoop down and over. So almost like I'm creating a backwards letter J. So I'm going to make a curved line. Nice. Now, I want to kind of end this line. I don't want to bring it up. I just want it to kind of point off to the other side of the paper. Okay, now I need to create the same line, only I need to flip it. And I need to put it over here. So this one, I need a straight line coming down, and then I need it to start curving like the letter J, and I need it to stop almost to where it's in line with this. So what I can do is I can make myself a little dot, that's a guide. Then I can make another little dot over here. So I'm going to start here, and I know I need to bring my line down, and it needs to curve around, 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 no pointy corners, and it needs to match up with this line. Now it needs to swoop over until it connects with that line. Now I have this space. I'm going to carefully close it up with the straight line. Perfect. Okay, now we need to add some ears. So we're going to use 2 straight but diagonal. So that means they kind of come inward lines, and they're not going to go all the way down. They're just going to come in a little bit and they're going to stop. So I'm going to do one over here. And I'm going to do one over here. Now it needs to slant inward. And I want it to kind of be in line with this. So I'm going to kind of visualize, and then I'll give myself a dot. That's the guideline. Not perfect, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. Okay, now a bobcat is a cat. So we're going to go ahead, like a regular house cat, we're going to close this shape up. So we don't want it to be a straight line. We want it to have a small, very small, a small curve, almost just a teeny tiny little bump. So watch me. I'm just going to come up a little bit. I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to come down to meet this ear. Like a super flat rainbow line. There we go. Looking good so far, guys. Okay, now let's start making this look like a bobcat. we're gonna go ahead and we're going to make an ice cream cone shape. So that's like an upside down triangle, and we're gonna do that in the middle of our cat shape. So watch me. I'm gonna make a line, just a straight line. And now from that line, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna go back up like a V, letter V. But I like to kind of round my corners, so I'm gonna kind of scoop. Ta-da! Okay. So it's straight on the top, and then it looks like a letter V. Okay, and from this point, we're gonna come all the way down to the bottom of our bobcat's chin with a straight line. Nice. Okay, now from each corner at the top, this is his nose. This ice cream cone shape, that's his nose. So we're going to make a curved line coming down. And then we're going to flip the curve and we're going to make it come down over here on this side. So it's going to start at the top of this nose and it's going to scoop down until it touches the bottom of his chin. So let me break that down. You want to make a small hook, and then you want to connect a line to it until it gets all the way down to the bottom of his chin. Okay, now sometimes what happens is we make a wavy line. This one's nice and straight. We're going to go ahead and we're going to color this in. We want this line to be just a little thicker. So I'm going to do it now with my black marker. You don't have to do it, but later on, if you do decide to color it, you can use the marker just to make this line a little bit thicker by tracing over it a couple times. That way then I can make it look a little straighter too. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to give our bobcat just a teeny tiny little open mouth. So we're going to give him two little lips. Here's how we're going to do it. Since we're making all of these nice curved lines, we're going to just come a little ways up. Not a lot, not to the middle, down here, close to the bottom. And you're going to make a scoop and a scoop. And then with your pencil or with a marker or crayon later, you can color that space in. That's like his little mouth is open. It's like his little tiny tongue. Okay, looking good so far, guys. Let's give him some eyeballs. So he's a bobcat. So he kind of has like a snout. His mouth and his nose kind of come out from his face a little bit. So we're going to use line to make the illusion of that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the tips of our nose. And we're going to make two lines. One is going to come straight up from this side, and one is going to come straight up from this side. It's not going to go all the way to the top, just a little way. So watch me first, and then you can do it. He comes up, and he comes up, and they stop. Now, on the top of each of these lines, we're going to put a big hook shape, so another curve. So this one is going to come from here, and it's going to come up, and it's going to go down like a rainbow. And then this one is going to come up from here, and it's going to swoop over, and it's going to go up, and then it's going to come down like another rainbow. So watch me. He comes up, and then he swoops down like a rainbow line or like a big giant frown. So this one, it's kind of hard because you have to flip it over. It needs to be in this space. You don't want to go the same direction. You have to flip your line. The curve goes over. So it's same shape but different direction. He comes up and he goes down. It's okay if they're not totally perfect. Nobody's perfect. And this is a bobcat. He's in nature anyway, so maybe his fur's a little messed up on this side. All right, now we need to make another curved line to connect this space right here. This is what's gonna make his eyeballs. So in this spot, I'm gonna make a smile line. That's another curve, watch me. You can start it down here if you want, but I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna make a smile in that space. So it's just a swooped line, a curve. All right, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna make a smile in that space. That's okay if this line kind of hangs off. He's a cat. So cats, they kind of have eyes like that. Okay, now inside of here, we're gonna make 2 eyeballs. So you're gonna take that same curved line. You wanna make almost like a flat letter C. Boom. And then you're gonna flip it. And you're gonna make it backwards. Boom. You don't wanna make a straight line. You want it to be curved. We're gonna do the same thing over here. So we're gonna start out here. We have to make a backwards letter C. And then we have to make another one. Nice. Okay, so there's lots of ways to make an eye, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a teeny tiny little circle inside of that shape we just drew. Boom. That's gonna be the shimmer in our bobcat's eye. So watch, I'm gonna color it in. If you don't like that eye, if this eye does not make sense to you, if you'd rather have, like a cat eye with just a line coming straight down, you could do that. This is your bobcat. I wanted my bobcat to have a little glint in his eye, like he was hiding at night and maybe the light caught him. Ta-da! He's starting to look more like a cat. Okay, but we want him to look like a bobcat though. That's a specific kind of cat. So here's how we're going to do that. We're gonna add some detail. We need to keep going with these curved lines. So we're gonna come back to his nose and mouth area. And somewhere along the top area of these curves, we're going to make a line connecting this to this, the outside of his face. So you don't want to do it right under his eye. You don't want to do it too low. You want to kind of do it maybe right in the middle of his cheek area. So it's not going to be a straight line though. It's going to kind of have that small little curve to it. Almost actually like this line here. It was just a slight curve. So it's not going up like a giant arch. It's just going to kind of barely have a bend to it. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing over here. And remember, we want it to kind of bow outward, like that rainbow line. So we just wanna kind of bring it up, 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 over, and down, down, down. Nice. All right. Okay, we left ourselves just enough space in his cheeks to give him some long whiskers. Because even though he is a bobcat, he still is a cat, and cats have whiskers. So maybe you want to change some of the lengths, but you want to stick them out past his cheeks. Nice. Okay, now let's work on this area up here. In his ears, we're going to do a little work to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the tops of both of the ears, I'm going to make a zigzaggy line coming out. So I want it to look like he kind of has some hair, some ear hair. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to put it at the top, and I'm going to go up, down, and connect it. I'm just going to make some upside down triangles. Just like that. Looks pretty crazy right now. Okay, now inside of the ears, in this space here, I want to make little triangles in each one. So you can make a triangle several different ways, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a straight line, and I want it to be a diagonal line, right? Because it needs to make a point. So it's got to match the angle of this line. Boom. Then it comes down like an upside down V. And then I just connect it. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to come up, and I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to connect it. Now, this looks pretty crazy up here, but we're going to hide it. So you can do it with your pencil, with your pen, or with a marker or crayon later, but I'm going to show you right now. Let's draw a straight line from here to here. So we don't want to draw it through this little triangle. We want to draw it behind. So we're going to go boop. And then we're going to pick our pen up, and we're going to put it back down here, and we're going to go boop. Here's why. We're going to color in this space up here. That way, and I'm going to color all the way up to these crazy triangles that we drew up here. So it kind of looks like he's got some spiky cat hairs. Okay, now from over here, we want to do the same thing. So we're going to draw a straight line from here to here. We're going to pick up our pen when we get to a shape. We're going to drop it down when the shape ends. Boom. And then we're going to color it in. So maybe we want him to have some little spiky hairs down here too. It's kind of nice if you put a little hook on him because it looks like hair more. They've got big spiky ear hairs. Okay, looking cute. If you want, you can even give him some little zigzaggies inside. Like he's got little ear hairs on the inside too. It's almost just like a scribble scrabble line, guys. All right, now let's give him the final details. A bobcat has like a combination of some spots and some stripes. So we're going to give him some small stripes coming from the sides of his cheeks, and then we're going to give him some spots in this top forehead area. So remember, guys, if you have a small space like I do, you have to make your little tiny spots small, okay? Because you want to fit them in. So here's what I'm going to do. In the very center of his forehead, I'm going to make a little dot. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a perfect circle. And then I'm going to come over here in about the middle of the ear and this little dot. And I'm going to make another one right at the top. I'm going to make this one kind of bigger. Just like a circle shape, a blob. And I'm going to make another one over here in the middle of this line right here. It's like a weird shape. Okay, then I'm going to make two more, but I want them in this space right here. So not right on top of these things, but like almost in between them and down just a teeny tiny bit. So you can make a circle, you can make an oval, you can make different circular shapes, rounded shapes, and then you color them in. Now he's got some spots on his forehead. And all right, how are we gonna do the stripes? Super simple. You're gonna make a line, and you're gonna swoop it around, and you're gonna bring it back. So you're gonna make a straight line coming from the side of his cheek, and then you're gonna bring it back like that triangle shape again, that ice cream cone shape. You want them to be skinny though. Skinny triangles. If they're just ovals, if that's easier, you can do that too. Look, I just swooped it around and made it an oval. You're gonna color these in, so you can do it with your pencil, you can do it with your pen, you can do it with a marker, you can do it with a crayon later. Looking good, guys? What do you think? I think I'm all done. All right, If you do have some coloring supplies and you'd like to stick around, I'm going to be coloring mine next. Well guys, as you can see, I'm all finished coloring my Bobcat's face, and then I went ahead, it was looking a little plain, and since I am so lucky, I do have some coloring supplies, I thought I would go ahead and add some green grasses and some leaves to the background. I wanted to imagine that my Bobcat was popping out of some kind of bush. So, how I did that was I just used two different greens and I created some ovals, something like this, coming out from all around my Bobcat's face. And then I also created some big lines, something sort of like, let's see if I can do it here. I came up and then I kind of just came back down again with the point. Really big. And I remember, you need to go behind your Bobcat. You don't want to go on top of it. You want him to be peeking out. And then I used different greens to color them in to make it look a little more exciting. I think it turned out pretty good so far. I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of it and I can be done.